Next, we are going to talk about Benzino and Coi Leray. Coi Leray has made some unfortunate comments as of late. Well, I don't know, unfortunate, whatever. You'll let you decide for yourself. But she made comments recently, speaking with Angie Martinez, about how her father, who is Benzino, is jealous of her career. These are kind of weird comments, and Benzino has clapped back
Oh,
towards those comments. So we'll go ahead and play a little clip here, real quick. Coi Leray, by the way, is definitely a friend of the channel. This is maybe
yeah.
the fourth time that we have that we have talked about Coi Leray on this channel. So this article from Complex says Benzino responds to Coi Leray saying her father is envious of her success in new interview. So I'm just gonna go ahead and skip all the way down to this brief clip, and then we'll also read some of Benzino's tweets or whatever that was, whatever platform he was on, because he did not appreciate what Coi Leray had to say about him via this interview with Angie Martinez.
How does your father deal with the success? Because that's got to be triggering for him in a lot of ways too. Triggering, or maybe he's just proud.
At first it was rocky because I felt like he couldn't handle my success. I felt like it did come from an envious place, which is okay because he's human and it's fine. But I felt like, he still wants, like, he's one of those people that feels like, yo, like, I still have a story to tell. I still feel like something, I have to say something. Like, no, he's like, I have to say something. Like, he's one of those people like, let me at him.
All right, so Benzino did not appreciate that very much. Um, so let's see here. So the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta alum didn't take kindly to his daughter's comments and fired back on Instagram, writing, "This has to be the most ridiculous crap emoji I've heard in my entire life on this earth. How TF can be envious towards someone." Okay, I'm gonna read this the way I think he intended because he's got some typos here. How the hell can I be envious towards someone I raised, nurtured, provided for, influenced, and love very dearly? This industry and the internet has completely messed up the minds of this young generation. And then he goes on to say it's so easy to hop in the bad Dan bandwagon because 75% of black women and girls were without their dad in any capacity. Well, I feel for all of that, but that was not the case for Coi Leray. I named her that. None of you were there, so please chill. The 26-year-old Players rapper is yet to publicly respond to her father's recent social media comments, but it wouldn't be the first time she's weighed in on the matter. Over the summer, Benzino shed tears on an episode of the We in Miami podcast when defending himself over deadbeat dad accusations. So there is some internal familial strife. I don't know what's going on here between friend of the channel Coi Leray and her father, Benzino. Benzino has had a lengthy presence within the hip hop ecosystem. He was formerly the proprietor of what was the name of that magazine he had?
The source.
Source, yeah, the Source. So he is formerly a proprietor of the Source magazine, and now he is a regular on Love and Hip Hop. I forget which city. He once had a beef with Eminem. That's probably the thing that people in my generation know him for most famously. But he's been around the hip hop scene for a long time, and apparently he has had to deal with this deadbeat dad tag for a while. And unfortunately, it would seem as though his daughter, who is trying to carve a name for herself in the hip hop industry, has reinforced this idea that Benzino may not have been the best dad. So, um, unfortunate stuff as it would seem, but what do you make of this situation?
Uh, I just take this as now she tried to be as open as she could about this and understanding with her saying, he's human, you know, but for her to confuse his parenting for him being jealous, I think that's a bit much. And so yeah, bro, we were rocking and rolling. I'm pretty sure, before she was even, you know, even born, we were already catching parts of Benzino's work before she was even born. So this guy's been around, as you mentioned, the game for a long time. He's seen a lot. And with that wisdom, a father's trying to father his daughter and try to guide her down the right direction. And I honestly think that she probably either came to him on some stuff like, hey, I want to do this, and he blocked it. Or, hey, I want to do that, and he's suggesting that she don't. Or she had went out and already did something and he didn't approve. She's probably taking these things as him being jealous, hating, blocking. But I think he's taking this as, I'm trying to parent her and I'm trying to guide her down the right paths. I think one of the hardest things for young people is to understand what their parents are doing when they're trying to parent them. And if you don't go to counseling, or if you don't have, solid people around you to help you see life through another lens, then you might go your entire life thinking that your parents didn't do right by you. But in this situation here, I honestly feel as though Benzino was just trying to be a guardian for his daughter, who and she probably thought that, because she's got her own ego, because she wants to be an artist, that he's just trying to slow me down. He's mad that I'm going to be bigger than him, and all of these other things that she's telling herself. But I would just tell anybody, man, if you're fortunate enough to have your father in your life, if you didn't, that's all good. Even your mama, all right, anybody, any of your parents, as she mentioned, they're not perfect. They are human, and they're just adults. They're not gods. And so they make mistakes. They do have whatever, and they do say whatever, but everything was in love, because they wanted the best for you. If there was something that they didn't see, something that they didn't understand, and therefore they didn't raise you on that, it isn't because they didn't love you. It's because they didn't see that. They were too busy at work. They were too, it's a lot of things that go into parenting. And sometimes things either don't get picked up, or you may feel as though they dropped the ball, but that's not true. And at this point, if you're an adult feeling that way, you already know how hard life can be. So I say all that stuff to say is, I think she missed these lessons. I think she did not see the things that the only reason why we know her name is because it's of Benzino. She didn't make it here. I saw a clip where he said that this girl grew up in the studio, basically. All right. So the only reason why you had access to those studios was because of your father. So why would he be jealous of the thing that he helped create? Pretty much what he said. So she's clearly lost. And he also mentioned something in there where, or in another thing where Angie Martinez, Ben had a thing against him. So she's just doing this to be messy. So I just think Coi Leray missed the lesson. I still think she's still young in her age. I mean, as you mentioned, it's like a third or fourth topic with her. And most of her stuff is coming off as immature. I'm surprised to hear she's 26. So how do you feel about this, man? Do you feel as though Benzino was doing wrong by his daughter, or maybe Coi Leray is missing the mark here?
She's 26.
I think that's what the article said, right? It said it's 26.
Oh, maybe. I would have thought she was younger than that.
Let me see real quick. Go ahead.
But yeah, I hear all of that. I don't have too much to add to that. I would just say that I think that some of this rhetoric from her is a result of two things basically working in conjunction with one another. In all likelihood, she being a young woman in the rap game, I would imagine, and this is speculation on my part, but I would imagine, being a young woman trying to come up in the rap game, she probably hangs out with a lot of other people who don't have fathers. I'm just guessing. So she probably has friends or associates in the hip hop industry, and they didn't get raised by parents or father figures like that. So there's the influence of those individuals who are probably around her on a daily basis, and they're coming at her with the type of sensibilities and talking points that one who did not grow up with a reliable parent would in her ear. And then simultaneously, because she is popular on social media and the internet, she probably has a lot of those things that others are telling her reinforced via her social media echo chambers. Because you probably have a lot of people who are gassing her up, having her believe that if something doesn't go her way, it's because she's not being groomed to fly and people ain't letting her spread her wings, or it comes from the same place that the rest of this stuff that she says comes from. Her belief that she's an actual talented rapper, but she's being held back by the industry. Her thinking that, she ain't popping the way she wants to be because the industry is too saturated. This to me sounds like she's parroting stuff that people around her are telling her. Either people who are around her in person or her echo chamber on the internet, because that's how this stuff works. These people get really enveloped in their own rhetoric. They can't see the world for the well-roundedness that it is. They only see it through the lens of the stuff that they believe and what people who are gassing them up are telling them. And so it's probably coalesced itself in a form of resentment towards her dad because she thinks she's being held back. Because generally speaking, I feel like she fancies herself someone who in general is being held back by the world. And why not hold your father responsible for at least some of that? Because your father is a part of this world, this cold, cold world that's continuously holding you back. So I just think that she has some stuff to get over, quite frankly, and maybe it'll come with time and maturity. Although 26,
Yeah, she's
that's
26.
pretty old. Yeah, so that's pretty old at that point. So
Yeah.
there's a slight chance that she's going to continue to hold on to this stuff for the rest of her life. But at the end of the day, I just kind of think that this is what happens when you are just in an environment where you just have the same type of narrative being forced down your throat for such an extended period of time that you come to believe it to be true. And there isn't enough of a counterpoint from somebody like her dad or anyone else who can be around you saying, yeah, some of that stuff might be going on, but hey, here's another angle to it. Why don't you consider every perspective and not just one singular notion?
Right.
And she's just someone who's considered one singular notion her entire life, and it's manifested her itself into a form of resentment, not just with her dad, but with the world in general. And her dad just happens to be a part of that equation.
Yeah, I agree. And hey, and shouts out to all the parents out there doing all the parenting, man. Your kids may not understand it one of these, right now, but one of these days they'll get it. They might be in their 30s or 40s, but they're gonna know exactly what moms and pops was talking about whenever they said what they said or did what they did. So shouts out to all the parents. Continue to do the parenting out there. It's not much you can do when they do, hit a certain age and they're still kind of young, and they seem to be, showing you their ass to kiss. That's wild. But hopefully, Koi will understand this one day when she's talking to her therapist or has kids of her own one day. That, oh snap, dad was just trying to look out for me. And yeah, he really is. But he might have his own unique way of loving because he is freaking Benzino. But I still think his heart was in the right place, and I think she has this misconstrued. So sad stuff,
Yeah.
man.
I think she just has a general axe to grind with
Yeah.
the world because she seems to be complaining about a lot of stuff
Yeah.
publicly. And this, not to say that she was complaining about her dad, it didn't
Right.
seem
Right.
that way. And she was asked a question. So it's not
Right.
like she just volunteered to start talking like this. Like Angie Martinez did ask her a question. So it's not like she went scorched earth on her dad. But at the same time, she routinely comes off as someone who's just got a chip on her shoulder, which is a good quality because if it can be, if used in the right way,
Right.
it can be a powerful tool because it can help you persevere and become successful.
Right.
But if used in the wrong way, it can just lead you to becoming a person who just is mad all the time and mad at the world. And it kind of seems like she's just mad at the world. And it is what it is. Hopefully she figures it out.
Yeah. Good luck, Miss Leray. Until the next time you're complaining, we'll be waiting on you.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh man, she's up there. We have used her as a topic on this channel many times now. It's like the fourth or fifth time. So
yeah, she been out there.
yeah, it is what it is.